me know in the chat if you can see and hear me okay. Let me know if my audio is coming through on your end. We were chatting a little bit in the chat before we got started there. If you are new to Webinar Ninja, up in the right-hand corner, there is a chat. Okay, Anne has confirmed she can hear me. Fantastic. Go ahead and in the chat, everyone, let me know where you are logging in from today. I know we've got Anne is here from British Columbia, Canada. I'm in Ottawa, Canada. Let me hear where everyone else is from. I know we've got Deb from California. So it's early for Deb, too. It's not just you getting up early, Ann. Deb is here from California. So Deb is at 9 a.m. for you as well, I think. Oh, okay. We've got so we've got two Anns. We've got one Ann in the Okanagan Valley and another on Vancouver Island. Is that two different Anns from BC? All right, this is getting confusing. Dorothy from Crystal Springs. Nice. Yep, two different Anns. I love it. Okay, we've also got an Alana. So there's lots of A-titled folks. A couple of D's as well. Deb and Dorothy on the line. Wonderful. Okay, go ahead. I want to hear where a few more people are from, and then we'll dive into the presentation. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Labor Day weekend in Canada and in America. It's a long weekend, I believe. My family and I went on a little boat cruise around the Thousand Islands area yesterday. It was beautiful. Got another. Oh, Martina. Hey, Martina. Great to see you on the call. Martina has joined the Story Plan group coaching. So I'm going to get to work with Martina throughout the month. Loving it. So great to see her here on the call. Or on the webinar, I suppose. Well, all right. It looks like you guys are you're going to stay private about where you're logging in from today. That's perfectly okay. Why don't we get started with the presentation? All right, welcome to the training, everyone. You've made a great decision to be here today. As I said, it's a long weekend. I'm glad you're taking a little bit of time out of your long weekend to join me on this little mini training to help set you up for success with Story Plan Intensive that kicks off next week. Now, if we haven't met before, my name's Kevin Johns. I'm a writing coach. I help authors from all around the world get ideas out of their heads onto the page and into readers' hands. And I've been doing it for about a decade now. I'm also an author myself. I've got a writing instructional book called Smash Fear and Write Like a Pro, focuses on the mindset side of things. I've got another book called The Novel Writer's Blueprint. I also write fiction. I've got a young adult horror novel called The Page Turners and its sequel, The Page Turners Economy of Fear. I have a free book that I give away on my website called Novel Advice, Motivation, Inspiration, and Creative Writing Tips for Aspiring Authors. If anyone on this webinar doesn't have that book yet, let me know. Like I said, I give it away for free. So shoot me an email after the presentation and I'll get you a copy of that book. I also have a dark thriller called M School. So in terms of genre, I've written on the thriller horror end of things. But I also have a children's picture book called Rocket Princess versus Snaggletooth the Dragon. So I have written in a variety of genres and worked with writers in virtually every genre there is. I've also worked as a writing coach, and I don't know why it just popped up in the chat that I'm asking you, how did you hear about Story Plan? That's all right. Well, now that I'm looking at the chat, I see Judith here from California, another early riser. We've got Alana from Ontario. Alana, I'm in Ontario too. I was just saying we were in the Thousand Islands yesterday doing a little cruise with my family. So anyway, I've worked as a ghostwriter where I've primarily worked in the small business space and leadership space. I host a podcast called The Writing Coach. We're coming up on 200 episodes of that show. I also often moderate panels in Ottawa, here where I live, at book conventions and things. And of course, I am a writing coach. I do one-on-one coaching. I've got a group program called First Draft that helps folks get their first draft written in 6 months or less. I've got another group program called Final Draft for my more advanced writers. Hey, and we've got Ted from New Jersey on the line. Fantastic. Now, enough about me. All right, we already know about me. Let's talk about you. That's what this training is about. What can you do right now to set you up for success next month? So let's find out if this training is for you. Do you have a burning desire to bring your book idea to life, but find yourself struggling to create a structured and compelling outline? You've pantsed or discovery wrote your way into a manuscript only to find yourself unable to complete it. You're already a published author, and now you're looking for a quicker or more replicable way to plan your stories. You just want to get the most out of Story Plan Intensive. There is a poll, I think, that's popped up in the chat. Let's see here. If we click on the poll, all right, some folks have already started filling it out. You have a burning desire to bring your book to life. Excellent. Go ahead over to the poll, folks, and let me hear which of these categories fit you, or if there's another one perhaps that better describes you. Okay, already published and looking for a more replicable way of planning. Excellent. Oh, and someone who's pantsed in disguise. Okay, so great. We've got a nice spread all across the board here, which is wonderful. Excellent. Well, what I can tell you is if any of these different types of writers sounds like you, then you are in the right place. So, on today's call, we're going to go over the 5 things you can do to rock Story Plan Intensive. And I'm going to share with you one thing you can do to absolutely guarantee success this month. Now, let's get the whole pantsers versus planners dichotomy out of the way before we go any further. People like to set this up as you're either one or the other. My argument is pantsers and planners do the same thing, they just do it in reverse order. So, whether you're planning ahead or you're making up your first draft as you go along, eventually you need to get the book to a point where you're executing on the fundamentals of storycraft. Things like adhering to genre conventions, story structure, character arcs, thematic unity. These things aren't really optional if you want to write a popular book. We need to get the story there. As I said, pantsers make up the story as they go along and then reverse engineer it to make sure all of these fundamentals are executing. Planners try to think about these things beforehand and then try to execute on them in the first draft. Either way, we all end up at that same point, ideally. That said, I personally strongly believe that planning ahead of time gives writers confidence that, at least on the very fundamental level, what you are about to write already works. And I think there's a certain calm, zen peace that comes from, okay, I think I at least have something here. Whereas when you're pantsing, there's that constant dread of, is this even going to work? Is this going anywhere? And so I think because of that, planning ahead can often make for a quicker and less stressful first draft. That said, some people like to pants and then reverse engineer the planning process. Whatever works for you is the way to go. That said, there is absolutely such a thing as too much planning. There are subreddit groups of people who just world build for their fantasy novels and never actually write the book. Now, that's not the goal of Story Plan. We're not here to endlessly brainstorm for the fun of it. The goal of Story Plan Intensive is to get you to do a lot of decision making in a short period of time so that you can get to the real work of writing your book. Deb, there shouldn't be any sound controls related to Webinar Ninja. So the sound control would be related to your iPad or your phone or your computer that you're on. That said, Webinar Ninja is really designed to work on Chrome. So Deb or anyone else experiencing any technical difficulties, if you're currently logged in through, say, Safari, try logging out of the webinar and logging back in with Chrome, and that should fix any technical difficulties you're having. And if it's a sound issue, take a look at the sound settings on whatever device you're using. All right, well, let's get to it. Let's talk about the 5 things you can do to absolutely rock Story Plan Intensive. Thing number 1, manage your time. Now, how this program works is you get daily training videos that go out at 7 a.m. Monday to Friday. So 5 days a week, you're going to be getting emails from me for 4 weeks with training material included. So something I want you to start doing right now is ask yourself, when are you going to watch the training videos? Some are 5 minutes, some are shorter, some are longer. Let's say it's about maybe 10 minutes of training a day, 5 days a week. Ask yourself now, when am I going to watch it? Are you going to watch that training over lunch hour at your day job? Are you going to get up before anyone else is awake in your family, before the kids are bothering you, before your spouse is asking for you to make coffee or whatever? Are you going to watch the videos then? Are you maybe going to batch the videos? We've got videos Monday to Friday, but maybe what's most convenient for you is you book an hour on Fridays to go through everything. And yeah, it'll be 7 a.m. Eastern. So regardless of how you go about watching the videos, do what works best for you, but start thinking about it now. If you say, oh, I'll get around to the videos when I have a chance, you're never going to have a chance. Life always gets in the way. So if you're going to take something like Story Plan seriously, you've got to carve out that time in your life. Start thinking about that now, because where people fail at Story Plan is they get behind in the videos, they get behind in the homework, and they say, oh, it's too late, I'll never get caught up. So time management is going to be a huge part of your success this month. Homework assignments come out on Fridays, and I ask that you submit them on Mondays. So again, ask yourself, how are you going to organize your weekend time to give yourself 2 or 3 or 4 hours over the weekend to do the brainstorming necessary and to complete the homework assignments that the program involves? Whatever approach you're going to take, put it in your calendar right now. Whether that's the training or the homework, schedule it in. What that does is it tells yourself and it tells everyone in your life that's non-negotiable time. Hey, it's blocked out in my calendar. That's when I'm going to be working on my story. That's when I'm going to be working on my outline. That's when I'm going to be dedicating my time and energy to Story Plan Intensive this month, because I want to make huge progress on my story planning in a short period of time this September. Now, the enemy here is becoming overwhelmed. It's really easy, as I said, to fall behind. And this often happens when we add more and more and more activities and responsibilities to our lives. I'm sure you all already have very busy lives with not a ton of free time, right? And so if you're going to add this program to your life, rather than just piling it on top of everything else you're already doing, you might want to take a moment right now and say, what am I going to cut out? What am I going to not do this September to give myself an extra 4 or 5 hours a week to work on my creative writing? Some of the easiest things are usually things like television, YouTube, video games, social media. I'm sure we all have a couple hours of doom scrolling that we spend every week, right? That we can put on pause for a month and focus on our writing. And this is what I often say. It's like you don't have to put your life on hold forever. But if you're going to make major progress in an intense program, put something on hold for a month. Those TV shows are still going to be there a month from now. Those YouTube videos will still be waiting for you. And you can revisit them come October. Okay, Deb, I see that you're still having trouble with the audio. I'm sorry to hear that. We're absolutely recording this. I will get you the audio afterwards for sure. I'm going to even type in here. It occurs to me I gave Deb all of the advice about how to fix her technical issues verbally, and she cannot hear what's going on. So I dropped some stuff into the chat there. All right. So, thing number one, let's treat our time as a precious item and let's manage it carefully this month so that we can be successful in story plan. Thing number two, commit to the story plan intensive schedule. Don't say, oh, okay, I'm going to take this program. This is something that's important to me. I want to learn this and I want to execute on it, but I'm going to take it at my own pace. No, there's a reason the program is 1 month long. And there's also a reason that it's called story plan intensive. This is a lot of work in a very short period of time. And if you start to draw it out, if you start to say, oh, I'm going to do it in 2 months instead of 1 month, it becomes really easy to go down that rabbit hole of endless planning. If you say, I'm going to take 2 months to do it, it ends up taking 4 months, or you end up not doing it all. So commit to the 1 month schedule. This is not about endless planning. This is not about world building for the sake of world building. What we're doing this month is setting a foundation necessary to set you up for the writing stage or the revision stage quickly. We want you moving forward to the writing and to the revisions. We do not want to plan for more than a month. So don't save this until a later date. Do the work right now while you have access to me and a community of writers who are going through the same experience as you are. They're taking the same challenge. You are not alone. And I know we have this myth of the solitary writer who goes out in the woods and writes their manuscript on a typewriter all by themselves and then comes back to civilization and shares it with the world. That's not how real life works. Real life works through community. We all get there with support, including every writer you've ever read. And so don't think this is something you need to do on your own. Do it now while a group of other people are doing it as well. Step three, or thing number three that we can do, is find accountability. I get it that many writers are introverts, right? You want to go it alone, like I was just saying. I get it. I'm not the most outgoing person either. I try to bring energy to my coaching, but you drop me into a cocktail party, I'm probably off in the corner talking to someone about books, right? No one succeeds alone, however, and we all need support along the way. So commit to providing your homework assignments to someone by Monday night. So as I said, Friday morning, you're going to get a homework template. Commit to giving it to someone by Monday evening. We're all more willing to do the hard work necessary if we know that there's someone else out there waiting on us, waiting to receive it. So who could this be? Who can your accountability buddy be? Well, a friend, a family member, anyone in your life. They don't even have to be a writer. You just commit to someone who you know is going to hold you accountable, who's going to give you a call or send you an email Monday nights and say, hey, where's that homework you promised me? I really want to see it. We also have a Facebook group for this program. And one of the reasons we have that is so that you can use that community as an accountability partner. Go in there Monday nights and post your homework. You ask for feedback from other participants if you like. Other people who have been through this program are still in that group. Maybe they'll share what they learned going through this experience. This is the seventh time we've run Story Plan Intensive. Hundreds of writers have been through it. So use that community as an accountability partner if you don't have someone in your life that you can rely on to follow up with you on those homework assignments. I also volunteer to be an accountability buddy. Send me your homework Monday nights. I'll say, good work, keep it up. Okay, continuing on this idea, actually do the homework. Okay, I find way too often it's so easy to fall into the habit of treating online training like entertainment. I don't know if it's because we're using the same technology, the same devices, but for some reason, when I was in university and I used to go to the classroom and listen to the professor and take notes, it always felt like education to me. Whereas a lot of the time, online courses to me have been kind of like, oh, that was fun, but I'm not really going to do the work. I'm just going to say I took the course, even though all I really did is watch the training videos. You're going to get a ton of information in writer's craft knowledge via the training videos, but it's the homework that is important. It's completing the assignments and working on your outline day after day, week after week for the month of September. That really matters. There's a ton of content in this program, over 40 training videos. But if you just watch the training videos and say, hey, that was cool, that's not going to move your writing forward. What moves your writing forward is actually doing the hard work of the assignments. Knowledge learned is useless if you don't execute on that knowledge. I often use a hockey metaphor. I'm from Canada. We got some other Canadians on the line here. We love hockey. But what I say is, you can sit in the stands and read a dozen books about hockey. You could know every rule in the game. You could know how to set up a perfect power play. None of it matters until you put on the skates and get on the ice, right? Book knowledge is one thing. Getting on the ice and taking a body check is an entirely different thing. So don't sit in the stands of life. Pull those skates on and get on the ice. And that's doing the homework assignments. Now, I'm even thinking of renaming it. I don't know if homework assignment is really the proper name for these things. This is not me testing whether you paid attention in class this week in the training videos. What the homework assignments are really templates designed to get you thinking creatively and making decisions about your story. It's not about testing if you were paying attention. It's about idea creation. It's about stimulating your imagination. So, if you aren't doing the homework, you're not really doing this program. If you're not committed to actually completing those assignments and handing them over to someone on Monday nights, don't bother doing the course. This is not about watching a bunch of writer's craft videos. This is about you putting your nose to the grindstone and making serious progress on your story planning technique and abilities. All right, thing number 5, check out tvtropes.org. So I'll give you a heads up about the program. Week number 1 is heavily focused on genre. I want you to understand inside and out the genre that you're going to be writing in. tvtropes.org is an absolute treasure trove, that's the word, of information about genre. So it's well worth spending a little bit of time familiarizing yourself with that website so that you can search things up and get ideas for your week 1 homework. As I said, I've done this program 7 times now. Half the questions I get asked from folks during week 1, I just respond by sending them a link to something on tvtropes.org. So someone will say to me, Kevin, I'm writing a urban fantasy. I can't figure out what the conventions of an urban fantasy is. I go over to TV Tropes, I click around a bit, I find a list of conventions for the urban fantasy, I send them their way. So take a look at tvtropes.org and prepare yourself to be able to answer questions about the genre that you're going to be writing in. Now, this is a new part of this presentation. This is actually a sixth thing you can do, or you can consider TV Tropes 5A. Now here's 5B, and I understand not everyone is going to be comfortable with it, so don't worry about it if you're not. But ChatGPT, the AI, has actually become an incredible tool for getting stuff done in week one of story plan intensive. We've got a bit of time here, so perhaps I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me know how many folks on the webinar right now attended the webinar I held a week or two ago where I talked about how to use AI as a research tool. Let me know if you were on that training. No. Okay, you know what I'll do? Let's close down the presentation real quickly for a moment here, and I will show you what we're talking about. All right, here. Hi everyone. Just let me bring up a new window here, and we'll head over to OpenAI. So OpenAI is the website where ChatGPT lives. And ChatGPT is a groundbreaking AI that is revolutionizing everything, um, sometimes in scary ways. So that's why I said you may or may not be comfortable using this. But if you are curious about AI, I did do a webinar on it recently. Maybe I'll link to it when I send out the replay for this training. But I'll show you real quickly how ChatGPT can help us with our story plan intensive homework. Okay. In the chat, someone let me know what genre you're going to be working in. For story plan, you're going to be working on a book. What genre is that book? If you know, let me know in the chat. Science fantasy. Okay, great. So, in week one, in our homework, one of the things I'm going to ask for you is conventions of a science fantasy story. So, what ChatGPT allows us to do is we head over to the website and we ask it, what are some conventions of a science fantasy novel? And here's what it gives us: blend of science and magic, heroes and heroines, unique worlds, alien races and mythological creatures, technological gadgets, epic battles and conflicts, moral and ethical dilemmas, power of belief, journey of self discovery, blah, 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 blah. We got 15 different conventions here of that genre. Now, as I was saying, part of your homework in week one is coming up with those sorts of lists. And so using ChatGPT is just a quicker way to get to that information. You can also go to tvtropes.org, go over it there. Another technique that I recommend is pick 3 movies in the genre that you want to write in. Watch those 3 movies in a row, taking notes. Anything that appears in all 3 of those movies is a convention of the genre. That's kind of like a quick study way to get that done. Now let's go back to our presentation for a moment here. All right. Okay, so we should be back in business here with our presentation. I think we are. I'm going to put my head below the PowerPoint. Okay, so let's review the 5 things that we went over so far in the presentation. Thing one, manage your time. Make sure that you are taking into account the time it's going to take to be successful in this program this month. 2, commit to the schedule, the 1 month schedule for the program, and getting that homework done on a weekly basis. Find an accountability partner, whether you're using our Facebook group, whether you are sending it off to me, or whether you are finding someone in your life who can support you on this endeavor. Make sure somebody is expecting to receive that homework from you Monday evenings for the next 4 weeks. Do the homework. Maybe I need to switch the order here. Do the homework, then send it to your accountability buddy. It's so important. This is not about watching training videos. This is about making genuine progress on your writing. Finally, check out tvtropes.org or check out ChatGPT or check out both and start playing with them for exploring genre information. What happens in a romance novel? I saw Judith listed historical fiction. What is the iconography of historical fiction? And get to know your genre this weekend so that you're ready to kick butt next week when we dive into all of our genre discussions during week 1. Now, you'll remember that I said this is 5 things you can do to rock Story Plan Intensive and 1 thing you can do to guarantee success. And that 1 thing is join the group coaching calls. This is how they work. Each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern throughout the month, we meet on a Zoom conference call. And on these calls, I answer any questions you have about the program, about your story, about the homework. We break through blocks. If you can't figure out what needs to happen next in your outline, if you're not sure what the iconography of your genre is, we go through it together. I'm there as your support partner, as your creative buddy. I'm there to work through the program with you. And it's going to be a group of writers. We've got Martina on the call right now. She's already in the program. We've got other people in it as well. And we're going to brainstorm and we're going to collaborate and we're going to become a mastermind so that you can have absolutely the best outline possible by the end of September. And we have fun. We have fun. Guys, I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to do anything if it's not fun. I take writing and art so seriously. It's my livelihood, but I don't take myself seriously. And I encourage a fun training and education environment where we can get in there and make serious progress and work our butts off, but also have some laughs along the way while we're doing it. Now, let's talk about some of the benefits that come along with being part of a group coaching program. First off, there's that accountability. Story Plan Group Coaching offers weekly check-ins and progress updates, helping you stay accountable to your story planning goals. This structured approach can motivate you to consistently complete your homework to meet deadlines. Something I've found working with clients as a coach, when I first started coaching, I had super low rates and people really struggled to get their work done. The more I raised my rates, the more experienced I got, the better results I got from my clients. And what I realized was when people purchase something like coaching, they're making an investment in themselves that forces them to be accountable to themselves. So I gave you a bunch of options already for accountability buddies. Get a friend, get a family member, use our Facebook group, email it to me. But if you actually pay a little money to be part of an accountability program and a coaching program, now you're that much more likely to do the work and to get it done, especially if you got me emailing you saying, hey, we've got a coaching call on Wednesday, get me your homework. You also get peer support. Being part of Story Plan group coaching will allow you to connect with other like minded writers who share similar goals and challenges. And we're on Zoom calls. So you're not in a chat like you are in today's webinar. We're looking at each other, we're smiling at each other's faces, and we're having conversations. And we're encouraging one another and providing constructive feedback to allow you to better develop on your story planning journey. We also get diverse perspectives. Here's one of the things. If you are, say, a romance writer, you probably know some other romance writers, but you might never have rubbed shoulders with a historical fiction author or a science fiction author or a thriller author or a literary fiction author. By being in a group program like this, you get to broaden your understanding of other genres, other approaches to writing, other techniques, thereby fostering your own creativity and expanding your horizons as a writer. You might see someone asking a question or struggling with an issue you never would have thought of because you haven't worked in that genre. But guess what? The technique to solve that problem actually applies to you in the work that you're doing. It's also about knowledge sharing. On our coaching calls, I'm going to share valuable insights, tips, and resources that aren't available anywhere else. I've done my best to make the training in this program world class. You are going to get a ton of writer's craft technique, tips, training this month. That said, I can't individualize every video the way I can coaching. You might be telling a story that's really unique, or you might dealing with a challenge that's really unique to you. That's where coaching comes in. We get on a coaching call, and I don't give you the general information about the best way to do this. I give you the way that's going to work best for you and the exact story that you're working on. And that's what coaching is all about. Plus, you get to learn from the collective wisdom of the group, discover new planning and drafting strategies, and get help to get your problem solved quickly, easily, efficiently, so that we can make major progress this September. You also get that sense of community. Writing can sometimes be a solitary pursuit. Let's admit it, right? It's us at our computers staring at that screen alone apart a lot of the time. But being part of a group coaching program, it creates a sense of belonging, a sense of community, this feeling that you're going through something together and you're able to celebrate successes together. You're able to empathize with each other's challenges, and it provide a safe space for sharing your work and ideas. On these calls, what happens on these calls stays on these calls, and it's a safe space where you can experiment creatively, a place where it's okay to make mistakes. You're not standing in front of a critique group reading out a scene looking for people to tear it apart. You are collaborating with a group of people and with me to plan the best story possible. You're also going to get my professional guidance on these calls. I'll provide my expertise, my industry insights, and personal advice to help you overcome and refine your story plan. I've worked with writers in every genre. I've written over a dozen books. I have a master's degree in English literature. I've run this program 7 times, I believe I said, right? I've taken hundreds of writers through it, which means I know exactly where you're going to run into challenges over the course of the program. And I also know exactly what I can do to help you excel. We have done this many times before, and we can get you there. So with Story Plan group coaching, you get it for just $87 a month. This is an incredible discount on my regular rates. I'm now charging $1,000 a month if you want to work with me one-on-one. This is 1/10 of that cost for 5 coaching calls. So when you join, here's what you get: daily Writer's Craft training videos, weekly homework assignments, access to the Facebook group. That's the free stuff everyone gets. When you join group coaching, you get 5 1-hour long live group coaching sessions with me. You also have an opportunity to have me read your homework each week and provide personalized feedback. So, people often ask me, can I get the homework feedback, but not the coaching? And my answer is no. I'm not an editor. An editor is happy to read your work, provide you with revisions, an editorial letter, maybe explaining why they made the changes that they made, and handing it off to you. That's not how I work. I'm a coach. I want to work with you so that you not only understand the changes that need to be made, but exactly why they need to be made, so that next time when you run into them, you're able to understand exactly how to solve those problems. So, if you want me reviewing all of your homework throughout the program, if you want me going over your outline, providing comments, providing advice, providing revisions, directing you to different resources, click the yes, review my homework little tick box on the checkout page when you join group coaching, and I'll look at all of your homework throughout the program. I see Anne has a question. I have another commitment at 8 p.m. Eastern Wednesdays. If I join the call, I'd probably have to leave 5 minutes or so early every time. Is that okay? Or would it be disruptive? No, that would be perfectly fine. The way these coaching calls work is we record them and we share them with just the people in the program, so that if you ever did have to leave 5 minutes early, or if one week, your kid has a baseball game, you're unable to make it to the call, immediately after the calls, I send out the video so you don't miss anything. You're able to rewatch anything that you missed. Last 5-10 minutes of a call, or an entire call if you were unable to make one. And again, if you know you're going to miss, you can send me email ahead of time asking questions, and I can answer them on the call, or we can respond via email, those sorts of things. So when you join Story Plan Group Coaching, I'm also giving you a bonus. That's 10% off your first book cover from Arcane Covers. Arcane Covers specializes in stunning, custom, and pre-made book covers for paranormal romance, dark fantasy, urban fantasy, and paranormal women's fiction. Or if you're not working in that genre, they also offer symbol and typography covers. So here's an example of some of the work that Arcane Covers does. And that's just a free bonus for you when you join, a 10% off discount for that. Now, something else that I want to reiterate here. What was this presentation called? 5 things you can do to rock Story Plan. 1 thing you can do to guarantee success. And I'm serious about that. People who join Story Plan Group Coaching absolutely rock the program, to the point that I'm willing to guarantee your success. Do the program, attend the group coaching calls, or watch the replays if you're unavailable, complete the 4 weeks of homework assignments. And if you don't have an outline for a book that you're completely satisfied with, by the end of September, darn it, I forgot to update that slide again. It keeps saying July. By the end of October, I'm going to provide you with your money back 100%. So this is a zero risk opportunity for you. Join group coaching. 4 weeks from now, you have an incredible outline for your book. Or 4 weeks from now, you get your money back. You haven't lost any money. You've had 4 weeks of Writer's Craft training. You didn't get to where you wanted to get with the outline. I give you your money back. But I'm confident we can get you there. Judith asks, would you ever read our writing of our story so you can get a sense of our style? Yeah, probably. This program is not focused on line by line writing or scene writing. We're really focused on the macro level story planning at this point. That said, if you're perhaps unsure what genre you're in and you're in group coaching, sure, send me a chapter and say, hey, Kevin, what genre am I writing in? And I can take a look and let you know your style. But again, this program is really about how can we set ourselves up for success when we do start writing and when we do start putting our style on the page, or if we've discovery written or pantsed our way halfway through a book and we want to analyze what we already have and set ourselves up for success for the rest of the book. That's what the program is there for as well. That said, if you're in coaching and you need me to take a look at something, I'm sure we can find some time for me to review your pages. All right. So when you join group coaching, you get 40 plus training videos, weekly homework assignments, access to the community in the Facebook group, 5 group coaching calls. So just to clarify, there's 4 weeks of the program. So our first call would be next Wednesday. However, that's only 3 days into week one. So we often don't actually have a lot of homework or things to review yet. So week one tends to be more of an onboarding call where we get to know each other, we get to know the program, we talk about certain aspects, but it's really the following 4 weeks that we actually have homework assignments and things to review. So even though it's a 4 week program, you actually get 5 hours of coaching. You also have the opportunity for me to review your homework and provide you with personalized feedback on both your homework and on the outline that you're going to develop by the end of the month. You also get that cool bonus 10% off a book cover from Arcane Covers. And you can either hold on to that until you're ready to publish your book. I know we're still at the planning stages, or something that a lot of people like to do is actually get a cover made for their book at the beginning of the drafting process to serve as inspiration and also as a visualization technique. Something that I did on my very first ever novel. I got the cover done near the end of the process, but the book wasn't quite done yet. But I had the cover, I printed it off on black and white printer. I didn't have a color printer back in the day. And I wrapped it around another book and I put that on my shelf so that every time I looked over there, I said, this isn't some crazy project I'm working on. This is going to be a book. It's going to look exactly like that. So anyway, you can use your discount on a cover as a pre-visualization technique or save it for when you're ready to publish the book. And I'm serious about the 100% guaranteed success or your money back. If you join group coaching and we don't get you to where you want to be by the end of it, a solid, rock solid outline for your book, then I don't want your money. I want to prove to you what you are capable of in a really short period of time. So join group coaching, less than $100 for 5 hours of coaching, and there's no risk. You're going to get to where you want to go, or I'm going to give you your money back. All right. So I'd love for you to go ahead and join Story Plan group coaching right now. There is a link in the chat where you can click on it and it says join now. Click there and it'll take you over to the checkout page. Actually, why don't I show you right now? Let's do a little screen share here so that everyone understands. So I don't want anyone who wants homework review to miss it. So let's take a look here. Screen share. Click that join now button, and it's going to take you to this page, which is the checkout page. Now, if you scan down on the checkout page, you can drop in your information here and see right here where it says, yes, add story plan homework review. If you want me to review your homework, just click that. It'll add it to the total and you can get signed up to work with me this September on your story plan. All right. So that brings the presentation to a close. Let me know in the chat. We have a couple comments and questions already. Let's see what we got here. All right, Alana, done. Boom. Alana has signed up for group coaching and is in. Fantastic. And Martina, who is already in the call, is going to be on those calls as well. So thrilled that I'm going to be working with you folks this month. For everyone who just signed up, once the webinar is over, I'm going to send you a Google Calendar invite that will have the link, the Zoom link to our coaching calls. I'll also send you an email in case you don't use Google Calendar, and I'll include the Zoom link to our calls in that email. Let's see what other questions we've got going on here. I love the idea of checker now. I'm big on visualizing. Yes, it's funny. If you look up my YouTube channel. I think the one of the first ever, or it is, it's the first ever kind of coaching video I ever did. This was back in the day where I was just an author, but I was like, hey, I think this visualization technique is pretty fun. And so I made a video where I show exactly how I printed that cover and put it on the book. And if you want to see me much younger, much less beardy, as a fresh young author, just trying to share some information with other authors, you can see me going through that visualization video over a decade ago. Oh, Judith. Okay. Please review videos and how many. Sure. So the videos come out, the training videos come to you in an email Monday to Friday. There's normally 1 to 2 videos per day. Every once in a while, there'll be a bonus video included that might be a long form interview. So, for example, I interviewed a fantastic writing coach named Doug Kurtz for a summit I hosted about backstory. And I love the way he presented backstory. And so during the day in the program that we talk about backstory, I'll also link to that video, which is longer. It's a 40-minute video, maybe, or 20 minutes, whatever. But yeah, so that's how it works. There's about 40 training videos in total, broken up over 4 weeks, 1 to 2 to 3 videos per day, Monday to Friday. In fact, here, why don't we take a look at that right now? Let's see here. So we're looking at, this is without bonus videos, and there's normally 1 or 2 bonus videos a week. So we're looking at 6 videos week 1, 11 videos week 2, 11 videos week 3, 9 videos week 4. So as I said, about 10 videos a week for 4 weeks, plus some bonus videos and additional training and extra support for you folks, because I want to give you everything I can to help you be successful. Hey, Rock. Okay, Rock just listed the best excuse ever for missing a webinar. I give all of you permission to miss my webinars if it's because you're writing. Okay, writing always number 1, webinar attendance number 2. So Rock, yes, as soon as this is over, or once it's done processing or whatnot, a replay video will go out and you'll be able to rewatch the whole thing. Alana, see you Wednesday. Thanks so much for attending the webinar and for joining group coaching. How long each video so I can plan? Oh, okay. They depend. I would say, let's take a look here. It's our average video length. Minutes of video. Let's see. Yeah. So video number 1 is 6 minutes long. So, like I was saying, maybe 10 minutes a day. Okay, video number 2 is 11 minutes long. So I would say about 10 minutes a day if you're watching the videos one day at a time. Or if you want to bulk watch them at the end of the week, I would probably schedule an hour, if not a little bit more, to get all of the training watched. Because as I said, there'll normally be a bonus video of some kind included. Intense, right? It's intense. It's not like an easy program. We're talking about, an hour probably of training every week, training videos, learning about storycraft, stimulating thought. And then I've asked people how much time they spend on the homework. Let me see if anyone in here has been through the program before. Sometimes we have people who come back. Hey, Bree, didn't see you join. Welcome, Bree. Yeah, no one here on right now has been through it before, but I've heard people say, they spend 3 to 4 hours probably on the actual homework and story planning, research and thinking and brainstorming and working on their outline. So we're talking, 4, 5, 6 hours a week for 4 weeks, and it's hard, but it's also fun, and it's also so much progress that you're going to make. It's amazing. My favorite thing about this program is the leaps I see people's story make from week to week is insane. It's like we go in the first week and someone's like, I think I want to write a book. 4 weeks later, we have an outline with 50 scenes for a book sitting there. It's incredible. So it's intense, but it's fun. And in the progress is astounding. And then you get to what's really important, which is the writing. As a writing coach, like I said throughout the presentation, I'm a big proponent of planning, but in a tight period of time. Planning can really easily become work about the work rather than the work itself. I don't know if you've heard about that in business sometimes. Someone will invent a new business. They say, hey, I'm launching a new business. And you say, great. And they go, here's my business card. And you're like, oh, wow, what a beautiful business card. What's the business? What do you do? And they're like, nah, I'm still figuring that out. But man, these business cards are killer, right? It's like, I don't want you to have a killer business card. I want you to set yourself up for success so you can get to the real work, which is writing, which is the fun stuff, creating, storytelling, putting words down on the page. Jula says, oh, you've watched a few blogs. You seem very concise and clear. Excellent for we right brain pantsers. Thanks so much, Judith. Here's the thing. Here's what I see my job as. I'm a giant writer's craft nerd. You can't see it right now, but I mean, I can pull it off the shelf. I'm sitting next to bookshelves, and this is just 1/4, not even, maybe a sixth of the writer's craft books I have sitting next to me here, because I love this stuff. And so what I see my job is, I go out there and I read everything. I take every course. I analyze hundreds of scenes, and then I distill it down to easily actionable advice for you. My job is to know everything there is to know about writer's craft. Your job is to be a storyteller. Your job is to be an artist. Your job is to be creative. And so I see my job as sorting through the best advice out there, distilling it down, and bringing it to you in a way that you can use it to get to where you want to go with your writing and your art and your creativity. Okay, Rock says, I started Story Plan Intensive once. The first week was easy, but it got a lot tougher. Now I'm working on a better book concept for me to actually execute. Yeah, we ease into it and then we hit high that high gear, right, Rock? So Rock, you might want to consider joining the group coaching like we've been talking about here today. Oh, actually, you missed the presentation, so maybe you didn't get all the details, but if you've tried Story Plan Intensive before and weren't able to complete it, consider joining our group, the group coaching, and that's where we are really going to ensure that you have success, or as I said, money back. I'm guaranteeing success. All right, folks. Well, we're coming up on the top of the hour. Any other comments, questions? Happy to answer. No, just while I'm waiting, maybe I'll just say, it's Labor Day weekend, and it always makes me think about the efforts of laborers and the efforts of workers throughout the last century and a half, who kind of fought for long weekends and fought for fair wages and fought for all these things so that like we have a life where we can do things like pursue art, like so that we actually have a weekend where we can write and still go to our day job and pay our bills. And so I almost feel like a lot of writing is magical, writing is spiritual, writing is all those artsy things, but at the end of the day it's also hard work. And I think we kind of owe it to the people who worked in mines and the people who worked on the factory floor and assembly lines and all these people who really fought to survive and then fought for fair rights. I think like the least we can do is work our butts off on our art. Like they set the groundwork for the world that we are lucky enough to have, some rights and some free time. And so I hope, at least myself, I try to approach my job, but also my creativity with a real labor, focused way about going about it, because we're lucky to be artists, we're lucky to be creative, we're lucky to have education and the lives that we live and be able to take care of our families. So anyway, all of which is to say, I wish all of you a fantastic Labor Day weekend. I hope you have a great long weekend. I'd love to work with you in Story Plan Intensive if you want to take this seriously, if you want that accountability, if you want that extra specialized help and all the things that we talked about on today's presentation. Love to see you inside of group coaching. All right, have any questions? You know where to email me, shoot me a message. Love to talk to you. Have a great afternoon, everyone.